we do not that sector of whether men the depressed part of a man is addressed is not fully actually addressed, because the societal expectation of a man is to be strong, and at the point whereby men get weak, at the point whereby men get vulnerable, at the point where men get depressed, then they're not able to come out clearly to state it and define how they're depressed or how they're affected, and in that way you see that at the end of the day it is not addressed. Yeah.
Let's hear our view from Eric, and let's get to know whether he feels or understands whether men's mental health is fully addressed to the public.
So to me, I'd go with Fred. Men, the issue of men is not, and like in the society, like a man who, like, for you, let me just say this to you. Huwezi taka a guy that when he is depressed or something, analia tunapata he is crying at nini. You want a strong man. So like when you are depressed, like ukifanya vitu unaona kama zinafanya ukue weak, like vitu kaa kuli utaka weak to the society. So you try to be strong, utajaribu kufanya everything possible to be seen by the society that you are strong. So hakuna venye mwanaume utaonekana hata ukiwa na shida zako, hakuna mtu ataijua, because every time that you seem weak to the society, every time that you yani uko na shida, unataka tu just to stay strong, ukae tu venye uko, ndo maana like lazima ukae tu vile uko. Hakuna mtu utakubali ajue when you have problems, when you are depressed, like when you kona shida yote. So to me, the society that like I can't embrace that men go through a lot, like we go through a lot, but we just hide because we don't want to be seen, to be seen weak. So to me the issue is not like the society don't care about it doesn't care about men in specific.
Great. Okay, according to the view of the two, I understand fully that the two of them feel men's mental health is not fully addressed, because both of them have different issues. Because one, it's about the community and how they are raised. They are told to be strong men from a tender age. So expressing their views and showing the weaker part of themselves, being vulnerable, is actually seems like a weakness, right? Yeah, that's why most of them feel and understand that we do not fully address the issue of mental health, because we are going to seem weak to the society. Plus, we were not given a place and a chance to be in a position to address ourselves. So I would really love to know, have you ever encountered or been with someone who was maybe depressed as a guy? And how do you feel, like how do you understand these guys venting to you? Like how do they come to you and tell you? Have anyone ever come to you and told you, you know what, Eric, I have a problem and I feel you're the right guy for me to talk to. You're the right person I need to talk to and seek advice from you. How many men in your life or in your circle have you dealt with in such cases?
So, to me, I've dealt with a lot of most of the men are depressed. They pass through a lot, but they just watakwambia, but they tell you in an indirect way, because unapata mtu akona mashida zake, but to share to you unapatanga most of you don't need to communicate to you. They just the actions. Unapata mtu amelewa, unapata mtu amelewa asubuhi. The first thing wezi leo kwa umefurahia. It's very hard at mimi nimeamka hivi, I'm very happy, sina kitu kinanisumbua ati niingia tu kwa pombe hivi. It's very hard. But mwanaume akona mashida hivi, anaamka tu anaamkia pombe tu, unapata that's how they communicate. They just communicate. Atakuja nikwambie Eric niko na shida ama nini. Unapata atakuja ani akona vitu unafanya, unapata kuna vitu tu anasema tu. Baada acha nikwambie, I had a friend alikuanga sijui baada hadi leo sijajua shida yake ilikuwa gani. So the guy alikuwa ataka like kujiua. So he wanted to commit suicide. So he came to me akaniambia, manze, I have things. Alikuwa ananiambia things about that I should do for him after amefanya nini, amefanya what he was planning to do. So the guy came to me and ananielezea vitu like the things that alikuwa like vitu zilikuwa zinafanya afanye nini, but alikuwa ananiambia in a direct way. So to me I had to nilibidi nimefikiria yani ndo nione how the guy was planning, because alikuwa amefika mwisho. Unapata labda you have a lot of things to handle, but acha nikwambie, men men like tunakuwa na responsibilities mingi in the society, so you find like most of the people, like you find you are the firstborn or the only guy in your family, so you have to take care of your parents. Unapata your siblings are looking to you, like unapata wewe ndio unaangalia juu unajua ulienda campus, so the first thing the parents they invested in you kwa education, si ndio? So the moment umeenda uni, umeenda college, so wazazi wanajua wewe, like in this Kenya like the parents know that ukishaingia shule ugraduate, like kupata kazi ni rahisi kwako, si ndio? So like wanakutegemea sana. The second thing, you have siblings or the society still wanakuongoja hivi because umesoma, si ndio? Every unapata like a guy you have a life, lazima like unapata kuna msemo unapenda ama nini, plus you know having a girl lazima like kumtreat, so unapata hiyo pressure ya maisha, like everything is kila mtu anakuangalia, it's like kila mtu anaona ni heri kila kitu unafaa fanya nini. Unapata una hiyo pesa, una hiyo job, unapata uko Nairobi unafaa kutipia nyumba nini, so unapata uko depressed, uko na a lot of stress, unashanga how to handle them. Yeah.
How about you, Fred?
We started at a point whereby tulisema men kuna that expectation that society has, and therefore even friends of men, hata mimi as a man, a friend will have that expectation that Fred haufai kuonekana unalia, you know. So for a man to really come to you akikwambia kuna issue, he won't come openly and tell you manze nimekuwa depressed for 3 days, unaona. But kuna, as Erica said, kuna pointers, kuna things that you don't expect to see in every day, you know. So ideally those are the points to check, because a friend may come and as a man atajaribu kuput it in a way that haitakaa as if it's that like imempin down, you know, so that strong part of him is still seen despite the problem. So in a way atajaribu to show that it's small, it's minute, but entirely it may be so large, you know. Yeah, so a friend may come and tell me, Fred manze hapa kimeniumania, but and to me I'll be like, okay, so you need help hapa na pale, and that's all. Okay, but you realize that the person may go and I feel my issue is not addressed because I only brushed over, because as a man I also expect you as a man to be able to live up to your own problems, to be able to live up to your own challenges, because on my side I also have my own challenges, and therefore men vent onto one another, you know. As a man I'll come and tell my fellow man, manze hapo unaona, what should I do, unaona. Yeah, because there's that advice, there's that confidence that I have from a fellow man on the advice part. Yeah, so I've had friends who have come to me and not so many, because I told you men want to be strong. Yeah. So friends come and they're like, manze Fred, this is it. Kama maybe girlfriend amemwacha, you know, stuff ka hizo. So maybe mem stress and all that, because before getting into depression there is stress comes first. Stress, anxiety, then that transitions into a depressed state. So I've had friends, and I'll say men vent to men. They feel, let me not be a victim of generalization. Some will address the issue by talking to other men, you know, trying to see if maybe Eric had the same situation. Eric ulifanyaje, unaona. Mimi the same situation nilifanyaje, and probably get a solution from that. Yeah, that's my take.
Nice. I've analyzed from the both of you, and I've heard how family have expectations about you are supposed to take care of the family, your younger siblings, and the extent of them thinking that whenever you graduate, immediately you're going to acquire a job. Other than that, I've heard a story about girlfriends and all that. So all those are the causes of depression, right? And I feel there is a possible chance you guys are going to vent into alcohol. If, for example, there's that one man among 3, there's one who is not going to tell you to come to you and tell you, you know what, this is what I'm going through, my girlfriend did this and that. They're going to vent into alcohol and drugs as well. So I want you to tell me, like, have you had friends who became drug addicts, who became violent after being depressed because of the various reasons of depression and the various reasons of disappointment and all that.
I'll start with saying yes. That's true. There are various causes of depression, and to state a few, probably most of them come from, or they root from expectation. Trying to want to live up to something. So that cuts across from family to relationships to even friendships. So I've had friends who at one point or another have had issues. They couldn't come out clearly, and they were like, I've had the notion that alcohol is the solution, that bang is the solution, that this is the solution, drugs is the solution. So they'll give you that false feeling of happiness, that false feeling of a solution, yet it's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. So in a way, the whole of the stress, the anxiety that comes from the expectations that we get from family, from relationships, and even the outcome of relationships which are breakups, transition into that depressed state, and people handle it differently. So some will go into alcohol, some will go into smoking, different drugs, and therefore, I've seen friends who have done that, but that's never the solution. It's a short-term solution, but it's never the right solution to it all.
So they became drug addicts, and to some extent they become violent, right?
Yeah.
And how does that end for them?
With drug addiction, it's bad. It's really bad. It messes up with the order of your life. It puts you at a state whereby you have to pause some very important aspects, such as school, even your availability to your family, to your friends and all of that. Because with drug addiction, I'll tell you, it really messes up with somebody's life. And in that way, I feel like that is the biggest problem. I'll tell you for sure that once somebody falls into addiction, the outcome is not good. And it's expensive actually to handle that. Because with addiction you'll have to continually get the drug. With addiction you have to, the next big thing is rehabilitation. That still that requires some expenses.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask Eric. There's this fact that people think or have a tendency of assuming that we as students, because we are all here students, and they tend to think that because you're in school and our parents have paid the fee and you have the food, we have everything, we can't fall into depression. But they leave out the fact that we are in school and you don't fully have the funds on a daily basis. There are people who are starving themselves, all in the name of we are in school, and your parents are assuming that you have everything that you need. What would you address to the parents? Because they tend to assume we don't fall into depression all in the name. They've paid everything and they have everything under control, and we should not even think of being depressed over such things.
So first I'll start with this. So like the parents don't know, like Fred is in that year. So Fred, the booking of the first year, let me say we're buy something like unga, maybe 150 shillings or 100 shillings. So in that year, say unga labda it's like 200 shillings. So mzazi alikuwa anakutumia the same 150 shillings that alikuwa anakutumia ukiwa first year. So ajui like something like the standard of life imeongezeka of something like that. Wewe ajui like kuna vitu mingi like you have to dress like unafaa uvae like mzazi akihesabu vitu zingine na una uko na nyumba uko, yani you have a place to live, uko na food like anasahau like there is a life that pia kuna vitu mingi unafanya. Another thing uko kazi in school like kuna vitu hizi concentrate, you can't have a side hustle at the same like the course like you're doing like you must, lazima ukue your mind like lazima ukue shule yote, hakuna vile unaweza kuwa na vitu zingine unafanya outside school. So like parents wanafaa wajue kuna like things have changed. Ukiwa shule like kuna vitu mingi unafaa ufanye, unafaa uvae vizuri, unafaa ufanye nini, because huwezi kuwa, you can't be in campus but you're dressing like the two kuna dress one first year bado una dress that year the same, like the clothes have zimewear out everything like you need yani kuna vitu mingi unahitaji, so parents should stop assuming like everything is okay. Everything is not okay, because there is the more unaendelea, the more there is yani kuna vitu mingi unahitaji, because like unapata you have to print some things, unapata mzazi yako amekupea hiyo pesa, unapata pesa ya food, because vitu zingine lazima you have to print those PDF for the notes ndio upass hizo exams, ndio another thing kosa kupass ni shida, si ndio? So unapata hiyo pesa ya food ndio umetumia, you have used the money to print the documents, unapata umetumia maybe the 500 shillings that ulikuwa umepewa ubai saba ama nini tufanye shopping, ufanya ndio umetumia, so unapata unajistarve juu uwezi kosa kuprint ndio when unasema like kama unasemanga lazima tu nivumilie, unafanya the most important things kwanza zinakuja first, zingine zinakuja baadaye, so unapata una starve, unapata huyo mtu ana food ana nini, just yani pesa ilikuwa but unapata yezi tosha, but mzazi ajui hivyo, parents that assuming that wewe ulikutumia pesa you are just okay, hawajui yani kuna lot of things that they don't know. Plus another thing, I'm not supposed to blame the parents, because at some time yani unapata wengine hawakuweza, they did not make to go to campus, so unapata ya alifika high school ajui kuna vitu ajui kazi you happen, so unapata it's upon us to tell them, to educate them, tuambie kuna vitu fulani tunafaa tufanye hivi like unajua the moment tumekaa na mzazi hivi chini umwambie ataelewa. Yeah,
That's a very good point, and I hope parents have taken note of that. And to actually ask the two of you, I feel like parents do not talk to us because when we're in campus, because they feel now you're a mature guy and now you're supposed to be taking care, you have it all together. And I would love to ask, how many times do your parents call, or let's just assume this month, how many times have your parent called to get to know how you're doing? Not just asking for money. How many times did your mom call you to ask, kijana yangu naendeleaje high school and all that?
Before you talk to Fred, let me just say, to us as men tunakuwa very disadvantaged, because like my sister unapata when she was in college ama university, alikuwa anaongea na mamangu every day, like unapata kila siku lazima wapigiane simu, but to me I can stay a month. Mimi tunapigiana simu tukitishana tu rent, hakuna kitu kingine. Ati mimi nasalimia mamangu, it's very hard and tupigia babangu, but you see my mom used to call my sister every day because she's a girl, and like nadhani she must be taken care of, but anasahau because she's just a girl, naona she's a girl, so anafaa pigiwe, yani lazima akue extra cared than men, but maybe hata huyo mwanaume ndo anapitia vitu mingi kushinda dem, because dem amepoa kila kitu. Yeah, but sisi ndo tunahitaji that attention, but they shifted to the girl child. Yeah. So I feel that like pia parents should be calling us, because imagine unapigia once per month, na sisi tunapigia usalimiwe, ni then unapiga unamreverse call ama nini, jojo ni comrade credit bado ni shida, so unamreverse call na rent ni aje, so unapata that's the only time that mnaongea na kuzuko aje, but for the any unapata imagine mnaongea na mzazi once per month, when girl child anakupigia simu. I think we are very disadvantaged as men.
How about you, Fred?
For me, I'll say it ni different from mother na mzae, because mzae atanipigia kuniuliza mambo ya fee, niulize mambo ingine, deadlines za fee on something like that, unaona. Lakini maybe masa ndo atapiga in maybe once in 2 days, once in 3 days, anataka kujua kijana yake ako aje. Yeah, so in a way I feel our parents haven't been able to talk to us in a greater way. Yeah, man, wewe mwanaume unaambiwa tu jikaze, so mzae hata nikiongea naye ataniambia jikaze. Yeah, so in a way men hatuongeleshwi sana with from the parental side, and maybe that's also a contributing factor.
That is true, because I understand from Eric, you said you feel like the girl child is more given attention, right? And I don't know, I would love to take the space and disagree with that, because I am a lady. I wouldn't say that parents took like I used to talk with my dad or my mom that often, because obviously they're at work and all, but bearing in mind that I'm in school, and there are very many cases of girls getting whatever. There are many cases of bad things that are going on. I feel like there are very few times I talk to my mom or my dad. Most of the times we talked ilikuwa tu stories za fee ama I don't have money. So I feel either both genders there is a role that parents are missing out, especially on these campus kids like we, not kids. Yeah. You need to take care of us. You need to call us, get to know how we're doing, and check on us, because not everything runs smoothly. Just because you have the fee and maybe you've paid our rents, things are messy out here. So I feel it's a responsibility of every parent to be in a position to check on their kids every time they're in need. Yeah, they're asking for fees and all that, but be in a position to ask how your kids are doing. So on the next question, I would love to know whether you guys have been in states, sensitive states, where you were depressed and felt you can talk to your girlfriend about it, or maybe you went to your girlfriend, and how did it go? Have you ever been in a position where you were emotionally broken down and the only person who was close to you was your girlfriend, and you talked to them, and how was the response? Because people take things differently. Because as a man, you're expected to be strong and not show your emotions, especially to ladies. So have you guys experienced that, and how was the experience?
Maybe let me backtrack kidogo. On the parents part, I also wanted to maybe say, yeah, as you have put it, parents, as Eric put it, there's the times they were in school, and there's the time that we are in school, and the economic times that are currently here, and therefore unapata that the amounts sent for money for food may not be constant. Wezi kula ugali mayai kila siku. Maybe anakutumia that 350, so maybe unataka supplement kidogo. Yeah, so kuna hiyo changeover, and yeah, that really needs parents to check on, because at least check on the diet ya mtoi ya mtoto wako. Yeah, on that part. On to the next question. Yes, I've went to my girlfriend before. Yeah, and I'll say from my dating experience, different ladies expect differently from men. There are ladies who are like, Mimi, I'll appreciate if you open up to me. Yeah, some ladies will be like, okay, so he opens up, okay, that's okay. He doesn't open up, it's okay, Yeah, so for my girlfriend, she was that who wants to see my vulnerable side. So she was like, hey man, nini, so I had to talk to her. It's not good to be able to live with somebody or to be close to somebody, and yet you're not able to talk to that person. They feel as if am I not that important to you? So yes, I've went to my girlfriend before, and that it came out good, because she was able to at least advise and even be there to provide that shoulder to lean on. It's good to be vulnerable as men sometimes, so that at least you may get the necessary help, and that can be only gotten once you speak towards the problem, and to speak to the right person, somebody who cares and somebody who's there to help. And that was my girlfriend at that time.
I feel like you're very lucky, because I don't, like 70% of men would never vent to a lady, because you're going to seem very inferior, and I feel you had a good girlfriend. I hope you guys are still together till now, but if not, I hope ladies can take this. It's good and nice for you to talk to your guy all the time, and if you feel they're not doing okay, talk to them and get to know how they're doing. And as well, be open to them and express yourselves. But I feel ladies always express themselves, but men don't get the chance. So yeah, we can also get their social media platforms where you can follow them. Yeah, Eric, would you mind?
On the all social media platforms, I'm Eric Breezy. That's mostly what in my social media, all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Yeah.
How about you, Fred?
Instagram _Ratandi_, and then Twitter Ratandi Fred.
let's take a short break and yeah, we'll be introducing our next guest, who is a lady, and we're going to get her own view on men's mental health. Hello guys, welcome back to our show. And on the show again, we have another guest. She has joined us. She's Anne. She's going to tell us more about herself. Welcome, Anne.
Thank you so much, and especially for hosting me. I feel like sijui nitasema mheshimiwa. Such a privilege. Anyway, my name is Anne Wangare. I am a media personality, or rather a journalist, just an alumni of one of the universities around Kenya. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, welcome. So before Eric left, we were talking about how guys vent into you guys, ladies, when it comes to their emotions. Like they tend to like feel comfortable to vent to you. Do you feel that's the case, or have you ever had someone who came to you, talk to you about the whole being them being into depression and all, or have you never had such an experience?
Well, about the issue of men having to vent their feelings towards their girlfriends or their spouses, well, personally, I've never had such an experience. The previous relationship I was in, my boyfriend would prefer to keep silent instead of opening up. Well, I'm that lady, as they said in the previous show. Well, I'm that lady who wants my man to open up. Just open up. Tell me, I'm going through this. This is the kind of stress that I have. And then let's find a solution. Instead of kunyamaza and then giving me silent. You know, men, when they're depressed or stressed, they give you silent treatments. Then you're like, nimekosea ama sijakosea. Unaona ile kujirudisha. So I would advise men to kindly have that urge of opening up to their spouses, because, well, I believe kila mtu ni different. Ladies, we are different. Kuna mwenye utambia and then ako like, so unaniambia nifanye, ama you are fellow man, unaona. But kuna wale tunataka just open up for the sake of your peace of mind. So I'd say men should open up. Na mimi hupenda watu kama hao, because hata utakuwa depressed. Actually, wanaume huku nje wanajiua because they're keeping quiet with their problems. And especially, you know, your spouse should be that close friend, that close person you can share anything with. Lakini, so if you cannot share with your spouse, you see, there's a problem. Yes.
You've talked about men distancing themselves when they are depressed and that. Fred, why do you guys do that? Because it's very odd for you guys to just ghost someone and then after a while unarudi uko like everything is okay, like you're out of a phase that you were depressed, and now that you're okay or seem to be okay or think you're okay, you know, feel now I can talk to my girl. Like, why do you take that chance? And you have her, you can talk to her.
I'll start to say that as I'll pick it from where she said people are different. And also maybe to say that on my end, if I was in such a position, it's mainly because I want to try and figure it out myself first. Yeah, I can't come to you with lots of problems, and yet on my side I don't even have a spark of a solution. Yeah, so personally I want to sit down with myself, try to figure it out, try to see how can I at a personal level. So this is the problem. What have I done? How can I fix it? So I'll take a break. I'll want to maybe stay alone, try to fix it from on my end. However, as some ladies don't want that, and that's true. Yeah, as I told you, I had a girlfriend who was like, I do that. That's yeah, she may give me the silent treatments as Yeah, so men may tend to do that because the expectation of a man is to be strong. And therefore to just come and try and open up, just open, like without the girlfriend insisting, that's hard for a man, especially from my end. It's hard for me to just come and say, Faith Ann, this is it, Yeah, I'll have to be strong. I'll have to try and manage the problem, to try and live up to the problem, manage the situation in whichever way I can before it overwhelms me and I'm able to come and maybe speak to somebody or speak to the girlfriend. So yeah, men will try to first of all try and fix the problem, try to stay away so that they try to figure out what's wrong, what's happening, and have a map out of how they'll be able to get out of it before they can come to the girlfriends.
That's interesting. And I think I have a view on this because the fact that you can go someone or go away, nitaedit hapo. So, the fact that you can be in a position to stay away from your girlfriend and be in a position to like tell them, you know what, I'm going through something, so give me a little bit of time for me to work on myself. Do you feel like you guys should communicate that? Because you guys just blindly mnajitoa tu. Yeah, we're talking about a specific percentage, because not all will do that, but that small percentage. Do you feel like we should just communicate? Tell your partner, by the way, I'm going through this and I need time for myself. How would people do that? How would people?
Mainly, I'll say for me, I wouldn't say I'm going through it, because I don't want you to question what I'm going through. So it's better to go silent so that you avoid the questions and even the push to actually speak. Because if I tell you I'm going through something, you'll be like, why aren't you telling me the thing? Yeah, you'll be like, don't you feel as if I'm here for you, And ladies tend to be a bit dramatic, let me say, and over that issue, because if I tell you that indeed I'm going through something, you expect more. Yeah, I just can't give you blindly and expect you to be okay with it. Yeah, the suspense can be killing, Yeah, and then what's up? Why can't he talk to me? Yeah, so I'll say that's what men tend to avoid, and the questioning part. And I'll not say it's the right thing to do, because it's not. But you realize that once something is not said, then it's easy to defend it, Yeah, so if I don't say I had an issue, but later on I can come and defend why I went silent, it's easier. Rather than saying I had something, I couldn't tell you, that will bring more issues, and therefore I think that's what most men try to avoid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's inaeleweka actually. And we've talked about relationship mostly. How about we venture into careers? Like the people who are doing medicine, like you, Fred, and they feel like there's too much work when you're doing your course, and there's a lot that people expect from you, whether your parents, your lecturers, and all that. There's a lot of pressure from school. And then there's a journalist here who is also in school. And there's that notion that if you're doing, I don't know why they say this, ati kuna kosi yenye ni ngumu kuliko ingine. Yeah, there is some sort of intensity in some of them, but we can say there is one course that is of more, yeah, you understand what I'm saying. So, would you tell me, and would you actually dive deep into why people have that notion that people doing medicine and those doing courses like journalism as me are not supposed to be depressed and are supposed to be cool because you're not doing something that's taking like most of your time, but they forget the fact that I'm doing a course could be difficult to me, could be difficult to someone and easier for someone else. So depression is not all about I'm doing a difficult course or because I'm in a better field than you are. What would you tell people who have such a notion about depression in terms of careers and in terms of other things that they may think of?
So maybe to pick from the career part, I'll say that we started from a point where we were talking about expectation, and therefore that also applies to the career part, because you venture into medicine, you first of all, okay, let me pick it from the point of where you said that it can also be hard. Journalism can also be hard to somebody who took it, you know. The same thing to medicine. Yeah, we have different capacities, brain capacities on what we can do, and maybe that is graded by the education system. So people who do so well will be taken into medicine, definitely. Ndio. Yeah, people who will come maybe averagely will go into something else. So I'll say that maybe medicine is hard, that's true. A lot of work, a lot of expectation even from family that you're not supposed to even fail a cut or an exam, yet the exams are so hard, where we spend many hours of reading, many hours of studying, and social life mainly goes down into the trench because you're not available, you're not present all the time, you know. And therefore I'll say that depression is a key thing in the area. Yeah, but I wouldn't want people to generalize and say that because you're doing a certain course, you're supposed to be more depressed than a person who is doing a different course, because that's wrong. Yeah, we all experience stuff differently, and we have different issues that arise in different courses. Yeah, so yeah, as a medic, maybe I'll have to handle the long hours of lectures, the few times the little time I'll get to maybe have friends and everything. For a journalist, they'll have to handle something different, no? So different domains will have different pressures, and therefore I wouldn't want anybody to say that because you're doing medicine, I'll be okay with you getting depressed. Because you're doing journalism, I'll not be okay with you getting depressed, you know. Yeah, that generalization is not correct, because maybe in the medical field there's the problems. I can talk about them maybe even in a larger perspective, but also in the journalism side there's a problem that one can encounter that is so troubling, is so massive even for that person to handle. And therefore on the career part, I'll say we should not be victims of generalization. However, if I was to talk about the medical side, I'll say that there's a lot of pressures, there's a lot of stressors, and most medics end up into depression. Even at KU a few years back, we had students who are committing suicide, you know. Yeah, because you're expected to do so well in the course. The course is not easy. We have a lot of units. We do over, maybe in a semester, over 17, you know. Yeah, so that's a lot of work. That's a lot of, the volume of work is crazy. The exams are not straightforward because basically we're being trained to handle lives, and you'll want the best doctor treating you, right? Yeah, so I'll say for sure on the medical side, depression is evident. I've my friends, even at myself, once maybe I almost fell victim of depression. But to cut across on the point, let us not be victims of generalization. Let us not speak to different causes. Just having journalism, don't be depressed. Medicine, be depressed. But let's go into what's happening. Maybe that will be able to create a picture of why somebody should be depressed in that sector, or how prone are people to depression in that part. Yeah.
I feel you've drained, like you have given the points in details, and I agree to that. Other than medicine, there are other courses which are require the same, and I feel we need someone from a different field to give a view on that. Anne, would you tell us more?
Well, before I answer that question on the career part, I want Fred to take this point home. Fred, take this point home. Fred said on the part of relationship, ladies can be dramatic. Well, men are full of themselves. Men have ego. They are full of ego. So that's it. So for both parties to save themselves from the stress, instead of giving me silent treatment, just tell me, let's call it quit. I'm depressed. And then maybe you can just find another soul partner, because for me personally, I can't handle that. You give me silent treatment, tukipatana, well, that is World War II.
Fred, do you think she sounds bitter or that?
Well, maybe she's expressing her side, and therefore I'll not want to judge her side entirely. But she puts out a good point that it's not right. Yeah, the silent treatment as men. The problem is communicating. I need time can be, this is a deal breaker actually. Ladies may take it, some ladies will take it as a deal breaker. So men are actually maybe afraid to do that, and therefore I know it may be hard, yeah, but I'll say for if men can be able to communicate, if the men watching this can be able to communicate that there's an issue, and just I think I may not be well enough to be normal, to talk normally, to give you the normal attention, but let me try to fix it, and once I'm fixed, I'll come and we talk about it. Let me just handle it. I think that can be a win-win situation, yeah, so that the lady doesn't get the silent treatment and the guys don't end up messing the relationship. Yeah.
She seems to have some sort of
Well,
thoughts going on. We'll come back to that because I also have an issue. But okay, could we talk about
yeah, the career part. Yeah, so I have pursued journalism, and according to many, journalism is not a hard course, Well, at some point in my life, I had this kind of stress. Shule is pressuring me, home uko na pressure, and your normal life uko na pressure. So I happened to share with a friend, and I told her, do you know, I'm going through this and this and this. I'm going through this kind of stress. Na hii ni ya shule, hii ni ya home. And then, alicheka kwanza. Then I'm like, are you even serious? Why are you laughing? I'm expressing myself and then you're laughing. So her point was, ati si unafanya journalism? And then I'm like, yes. Ati si kazi yenu ni kuongea tu. Niko like, wow. Actually, nilisema tu, wow. I never even continued with my story. So, kuna ile tu notion ya, maybe for example, watu wa medicine. Okay, mimi grow up nilijua, watu wa medicine, akili wako na nyingi sana, so stress ni mingi. Actually, if you would ask me kitambo, ningesema hivyo. But up to this point, no course is hard, no course is easy. Unaona? So mimi ningeambia watu, and especially students, if you want to escape depression at some point, ama that kind of stress academically, ama career-wise, just choose a course yenye wewe una feel you're comfortable in. Do not let your parents ama peer pressure lead you to choosing a course, because many people, so I don't find it as hard as they say, because I want to cope up with everything that is going on. But to others, there are some people who pursued journalism, well, tulingia na wao shule, but if you listen to them, they dropped out, wakaenda courses zingine, mtu ana cosmetology, just because journalism is hard for them. So let's try to understand every person and from their side of view, na aspect yenye wanatoka nayo, and then you'll get to understand that no career ama no area of profession is hard or simple. Yes.
That is very interesting, and you've given a very good point about it. I'm going to read a few comments about what you guys are talking about. And I have one. She's Mal. Anauliza, sio kunyamaza huwa ina lead to self-harming. I agree. To some point, it can lead to that. Do you have a say in any of that?
Yeah, I'll say, depression, wahenga walisema, or the English wise men said a problem shared is actually half solved, So once I sit down with myself, I'm fighting. They say the greatest enemy to you is you. Yeah, so once I sit down in silence, I may be able to go through a lot in my mind. And once I'm fighting against myself, I may not win. That's why people who tend, you see people who have issues and they don't speak out end up committing suicide. Yeah, so that silence is actually doing more harm than good. And therefore, I'll encourage, at least, even if a man is not comfortable to speak or show the vulnerable side to the girlfriend, at least show it to somebody, confide in somebody who can be able to help, Yeah.
How about you?
Well, my advice to people would be, usinyamaze, do not keep quiet. Like, why should you hurt yourself by keeping quiet? Ukijifungia kwa nyumba, they say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So wale who commit suicide, it's because umejifungia kwa nyumba, you don't want to open up. Well, even if you don't find well, comfortability in opening up to your parents, you know, those close people. At least you have friends. You have friends. They are spiritual leaders. People tend to think spiritual leaders ni wale tu uende tu pale uambiwe them or whatever, uanguke, deliverance, but they can be very helpful. And even hata kwa shule, there are lecturers who venture into guidance and counseling. And there are those people, you know, people fear guidance and counseling. I'm going to psychologists, wanaitangwa hivyo, I believe. Because wanasema, hey, si ataenda kupeana example na story yangu, you know, and then they fear that. Lakini there are those who are professionals. So just share. In short, just share. Do not keep quiet.
And how about the introverts, those who do not know how to communicate, and there's the introverts who feel they don't want to communicate and they feel more safe going through the process alone, like through the journey alone. Is that safe, or how is it?
Well, it's safe. It's safe for, okay, personally, if I would refer to myself, or if I were to describe myself, I'll not call myself an extrovert. I'm more into introversy. I'm an introvert. So personally, what I do, maybe this might help someone out there. Personally, what I do when I'm stressed, I don't open up. Well, I don't see pleasure in opening up to people, because I have opened up to friends before, to family, but they went ahead and hurt me even the most. So instead of that, what I do, I listen to music. I do what I love best. I read novels. I just travel, just get the exposure, or just sleep and cry yourself out. Just go somewhere and scream. Anyway, that is how I deal with my stress. So for the introverts, we have to understand different kinds of people. So if you're not good in opening up, well, at least there's something that there are some things that you love doing. There are hobbies, you have talents, you have things you can do, and just clear your mind. Just don't stay idle. Yes.
That's great. So for the introverts, take that from Anne and be in a position to solve your issues in a way that's not going to harm you at all. We also have another comment from Nimo. Anauliza, him not talking to me, akona issues. That means he doesn't trust me.
I did tell you, that's what you can see coming, you know, because that's actually the biggest view. Even if my girlfriend came and told me, hey, she has been telling me everything, but then it reaches a point she's like, she has a problem. I know there is a problem and she can't talk to me. I'll feel the same way, you know. Yeah, mbona ni trust, mbona there's this issue affecting her that she's not able to communicate to me. So why, you know? The why comes out clearly. So the same thing comes out. We expect the same thing from the other side, you know. Yeah. So as a man, that's what you fear, you know. Yeah. So I'll say, I did say ladies can be dramatic, you know. Yeah. So the questions that will pop up, and therefore that's why I gave an advice to men that if you can, and in a way, communicate, because if you can communicate, then you'll avoid a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of questions that may be problematic to the relationship.
I have a question. What if you had a partner who is toxic, and as a lady, or as a man, let's take it from a man's way, you know your lady is kind of toxic and you have issues that you want to tell her, like you just want to open up because you know what, this is my girl. People told me I should vent into people who I love and who are close to me. But you know very well she's toxic. How will you continue to ask the question, to tell her and vent to her, or do you just leave it? Because definitely there are people who have toxic partners here, narcissists, and partners who are not perfect. No one is perfect there. But there are people who have worse partners. How do I deal with that? Do I go to a psychiatrist because I have a toxic and then she's going to complain to me, you don't vent, because, you know, there's such cases. So which one do you prefer, a psychiatrist or the toxic wife that you have?
Okay. From that, I'll say I think I'll go to the professional bit, maybe the psychiatrist. Yeah, because you know, the essence of opening up is to be able to feel heard, to be able to feel safe in that conversation, you know. And if you're not able to do it in your partner, I mean, yeah, everybody is not perfect, and therefore there are traits about your partner that you like. That definitely, that's why you're in the relationship. But on those that you can't that are not likable, and you're not able to express yourself better on that side of maybe venting and having a safe space in that partner, it's ideal that maybe you seek professional. Don't go cheat. Yeah, men, don't go cheat.
Most of them opt cheating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can call it off, and it's been an interesting topic, and I feel there's more to talk about men's mental health, because today we've dwelt mostly on partners and school and parents and all, but I feel men's mental health is a very big and a very diverse topic that people need to talk about. And take note from me and my guests today. Please open up to your partners. If not that, just go seek for psychiatry, for medical health, right? Go pay for that fee, counseling as well. We need to get a solution to all this, because if you can't vent to your parent, your partner, or a friend, who else? Then go to someone who you don't know. So that has been a great day, and I've loved the fact that our guests have given their views and they've dug deep on the topic today, and I feel kila mtu saya they're very comfortable with the topic. So as we wrap up, where do you want us to find you anymore? In maybe your social media platform, because you're a media personnel. Wow.
Okay, so people can find me on my social media platforms. Well, I don't use my official names, so they can search Kikuyu Doll on all social media platforms. Yes.
Uh-huh. You feel like repeating?
Instagram _Ratandi_.
It's been a great show, and have a very good evening. I've been your host, Fidan Nyambura.